Well, hello, Chapel City Church. It's Pastor Matt once again coming to you with another update from whatever week this is, because let's face it, all the days are starting to run together now, let alone the weeks. We do hope that you enjoyed Easter and Good Friday this last week, that it was a special time to be together, even though we couldn't be together as we celebrated Easter in a different way than we were planning. But we know that it was in God's plans, and so it was still a time of great rejoicing and hope, and we do hope that you were encouraged in that. Just want to touch base with you like we do every week to let you know kind of where we're at, what we're thinking, and maybe what we can be planning on or not planning on, as the case may be. You probably heard that the most recent set of regulations has us going into self-isolation up until at least May 15th. So just so you know, of course, the church will follow along with those guidelines, and as of now, the hard date is May 15th, and if we're being realistic, it will likely go on past that, at least in some kind of social distancing regulations. We are going to set up plans for whatever that phasing back in looks like as soon as we have more details. But as soon as we know what that will look like, of course, we'll communicate that to you. And we ask that you continue to be praying for us as far as wisdom and how we relate to the government guidelines. You might have heard again, specific to our county, that we can broadcast, we can come together on a Sunday with a certain amount of people in the building to accomplish a live stream. The number is 7 that they've given us, and by God's grace, we're able to accomplish that with the necessary staff in place. So we have great volunteers that are making things happen on a regular basis, and I certainly hope that you're grateful for the opportunity that they've provided you to worship in your homes. I know that we're thankful for all that they've allowed us to do here. So continue to pray for that. Continue to pray for wisdom with how to interact with constantly changing regulations and demands. But we do have a couple of things coming up that we need to talk about. Things like elder nominees that are coming in. We're coming to the end of another fiscal year, which means a budget cycle is beginning and a leadership cycle is beginning. We have men cycling off the elder board, and we have men that are going to be coming on. Specifically, we'll be announcing the names this week in preparation for our annual meeting, and that is that Wayne Bruckner and Mike Couchman have been identified and recommended by the search committee, and those will come as recommendations from the elder board to you. So we're going to put that out there once again this weekend, and that'll give you plenty of time where if there's a cause for concern, if there's questions that you have, if you just want to reach out and meet these guys, we would encourage you to do that well before the meeting. And that does bring us to our annual business or our period business meeting. It's not very likely that we will be able to get together in person May 31st. So right now we are actively making plans for what it might look like to get together virtually. To be honest with you, there's some hurdles to cross. We don't know exactly what ballots will look like. How do we take absentee ballots? How do we get an interactive Zoom meeting going? And do those things still meet our quorum limits? We're looking into those to make sure that we are following the rules and the guidelines to the best of our ability. As soon as we know exactly what that will look like, we will let you know. But we are letting you know the names of those elder nominees early so that if we need to move the meeting up potentially because of requirements or gathering restrictions so that we can allow for absentee ballots, it'll let you have plenty of time to interact with those names. In the meantime, what do we do while we wait for normal? Well, in a lot of ways, we do what we're able to do. We minister to our friends through distance, our families, through the closeness that we're able to. We would encourage you to reach out to us with needs. info@Chapel City Church is our regular email address. And of course, we have that specific care email address set up, care@chapelcity.church. And one of the things that we want to encourage you again is if you need basic supplies, things like toilet paper, things like antibacterial soap, things like masks, we have ways to get those to you. If there is a need, there is not a need that's too small. If you need a mask, we have people that are ready and willing to sew them for you. We have some available, and we would love to help get you those. If you need the basics, but you don't want to burden people, please know that you're not a burden. We have more people willing to help than cries asking for help, which is a really encouraging place to be. But my concern is always that people are waiting until their need feels big enough to bring it out there. Please know that your need is important to us while it's small, and we don't want you to be overwhelmed wondering when it's okay to bring other people in. Reach out to us, let us know. We'd love to at the very least pray for you, and of course we'll meet any physical need that we're able to meet. And as this thing does stretch on, one thing that I'm hearing from several people is that it's tough to find motivation to do anything. Believe me, I understand that. When every day starts to look the same, when you're living the Groundhog Day over and over again, why get up? Why make the kids log on? Why worry about doing small group? In my case, why sermon prep for an empty room? And those are real questions, and they can be hard to wrestle with. In my case, I know that I'm not sermon prepping for an empty room. You guys have been really good and encouraging about giving feedback, but more than that, I'm preaching for people to hopefully hear and understand God's word. God has given us the commands that we're still able to follow, to love God and to love others. It certainly does look differently, but there are ways that we can love and worship God even in our homes, maybe even now at a different and more distinct way than we ever could. And I would encourage you, if you're looking for a purpose today, find your purpose in worship. Worship God for what he's doing, not just in spite of what's going on, but because of what he is doing. Look for those ways in your life that he is being faithful, that he's proving himself faithful, that he's giving you opportunities to do things that you wouldn't have had the opportunity to do before. And then love others. If you need a purpose today, if you wrestle with depression, loneliness, anxiety, those don't just go away in an instant, of course, but many, many times the first practical step toward working through those things is to expand your horizons and to begin to look to serve others. One of the most practical counseling things that we work through as people deal with depression, loneliness, anxiety, all of those things that are especially highlighted and acute right now in our circumstance, is to begin to see how you can serve others. How has God gifted you to bless the body? That might mean going through the church directory and praying through a list of names. That's a purpose. That might mean sitting down at your computer and writing 5 or 10 encouraging emails to people that you might not have otherwise had the chance to talk to today. That's a purpose. It might mean finding someone with a need in your neighborhood, on your street, in your workplace, or in our church community and meeting that need. It might mean getting creative with your kids to figure out how they can be a blessing to others. If you need ideas, we'd love to help you talk through those things. I would love for you to I would love to help you find your purpose in something other than wondering what your day is about. Let's worship God well during this time. Please know that we're praying for you, and we would love to know how to do that more specifically. We look forward to seeing you on Sunday, and know that we're praying for you and we love you. God bless.